Hello, hello, it's Mark with Redo Over, and we are back to our in-depth tutorial of Gal Civ 4. In the first 3 episodes of our in-depth tutorial, we essentially went through the first turn of the game, looking at all the little fields, everything we could see, going in pretty in-depth. Now, I realize probably I'll pick up some little videos here and there and do little 15, 20, 25-minute deep dives into some of the tabs and frames and better explanations on stuff. But at this point, we're going to just try and play the game and kind of talk about what we're doing as we do it. That's the whole idea, is just really analyzing each step. So here we are, episode 4, and this should be the start of our gameplay. Now, a couple things have changed since we hit our turn button, which is behind my face box here. You can't see it, but it's the least exciting part of the screen, which is why my face is there, because I like to see myself talk. But listen, we have a civilization tab open right here, the scales. That was grayed out before, but one of our buildings or researches we did, it gave us that. So you unlock a few things on that first turn of play, but let's go into the civilizations tab. So real quickly, up here, we've got our tax rate. This is super simple. All the income from all the buildings and all this, the pops, the people in your civilization, all your special resources add up to a given number. But your tax rate then is a straight percentage of that you are putting into your pocket. So let's say you make 1,000 income. That doesn't go into the piggy bank for the government. You must tax that 1,000 income in whatever percentage is, say 50% tax rate, you would get half of 1,000. That's how it works. So let's look up here real quickly. The medium rate is a 33% tax rate. Modifies nothing to approval. So that's your standard. Real quickly, we'll just cycle through these. It won't hurt anything to do this. We'll go to low. Low is a 10%, and it's interesting. It says it modifies approval by 0%. I don't think that's true. Look, you can see it jump. Medium is a 60%. Normal puts it to 67, and normal is a 25% tax rate. We go to low tax rate is 10%. That's very low. Oh, and there we go. Modifies approval by 7 more percent. So it looks like it's -7. And okay, Stardock. I am so sorry, folks. This is not me flubbing up. This is, be patient with Stardock, because ultimately what they're trying to do is week by week, month by month, they are patching and updating and balancing the game out, is what's happening in real time. I believe the game went full live back in, like, say, October. So it's been out about 5-6 months. But you can imagine every time they make changes, rebalances, and they're not doing like crazy drastic stuff, it's really hard to have the staff on hand to recheck every other part of the game. You're going to make a change in one area, and maybe that pushes some text or some field 3 pages over out of whack. And the reality is that probably the best we could do is if they have some sort of error report system that we could submit to, or folks like you and me out there just making comments on threads saying, hey, Stardock, this is weird, this is weird, this is weird. So when I tooltip over medium, this should say 33%, modifies approval by -16. Okay, awesome. When I go to low, okay, I see what's going on here. The approval, oh geez, Stardock, what are you doing? You nut jobs. It's relative. It's relative. So they're saying if you're on low and you select low, you won't change your approval. No shit. The tax rate's 10%. From low, it will be -7% to your approval if you click on that. At 25% medium. If 33% tax rate will give you a -16% to your approval, dropping that 64 down to a 58. Let's see. No. Dang, you guys, why are you doing this to me? 16%, I click it, it only drops by 14%. Again, let's just keep moving. Let's keep going. I'm sure I've just lost about 50% of my viewers because of that. But I don't know what's going on. Okay, high tax rate is 50%. Max tax rate is 75%. That's really what matters. It's Stardock, oh my gosh, you guys don't need to put the approval rate change. If the player can just see the percentage rate and just click and then watch their approval adjust. Here we are at max. We're at a 16% approval rating. That's shit. We go to high, it's at 43. We go to medium, it's at 60. We go to normal, it's 67. We go to low, it's 74. Now, is your approval overall changes because of other factors? Those numbers won't always be the same. So if it was me, I would say, Stardock, that you should just say nothing about the approval here. Just say it will lower approval or it will raise your approval. That's it. That's all you needed to do. Instead, the numbers you got aren't working just quite right. But all we really care about is 10%, 25%, 33%, 50%, and 75% tax rates. That's what we care about. Okay, wow. We'll leave that on medium. Here's our civilization outputs. This is combined. This is the macro view of all of our colonies. At some point, we will have many core worlds. Those are the worlds we can drill into with, see the hex maps and like build them up. And we'll have many colonies, sub-core worlds. These are just worlds without governors assigned, and we can't actually get into them and adjust the hexes and build buildings. They just provide inputs into our overall civilization. So here's our GDP. Gross income total is 24.17 at that tax rate of 33%. This is what our surplus is, coming in at 7.97 per month, per turn. Okay, there you go. Ship maintenance. Yes, this is our output. This is our, let's say, tax burden. What's the term for it? You got your black and your red. This is red. These are our reds. This is our outgoing on our accounting on a monthly basis, right? Is that how we look at it? Our debits. So right now we have two ships, the Discovery and the Thea, that are costing us a bit of credits, 1.25. Now, as you advance the game, leaders don't seem to cost you taxes that I've seen, really. Ships do. And some of the buildings that we will build will have a maintenance. It'll be called maintenance. And it is this little red wrench. And it might be 1 or it might be 3 or 5. Some stuff can get really expensive. Now, most of that super expensive stuff is like a one-time civilization building that you can only build once. But it adds up quite a bit. So beyond that, there's your net monthly income is your revenue minus your expenses. And that's your surplus. So that 6.72 is represented right up here in the corner as that green +7. So that is what we're changing by. So that might be at a -2 if you're running a deficit, or it could be at a +102. You can easily get your surplus into the 100+ range per month. And then, of course, the 1506 is our actual savings account. It's our piggy bank. It's what's in the bank. So we can spend that. All right. Now, over here, we've got the civilization policies. You can see there's 7 total slots. One of them starts out unlocked, and you'll gain technologies that will unlock these as you go. Quite simple. No big deal. I've never seen a way to get an 8th one of these slots. It does seem to be 7. I've never seen anything that like gives you a magical 8th one and it shifts this bottom row over one. But over here are our available policies. You're going to gain policies through primarily your research and occasionally through a cultural pick you might do. Could unlock a policy exclusive to your culture. Now, when you are developing your civilization, it's very, very possible that some of those abilities, you remember each civilization gets to choose 2 abilities from a drop-down menus. There are a few policies in there, I believe. There's a lot of stuff. I don't think I've ever read through them. There's like 40 of them, 45 of them. So you may get a policy or 2 through that. But it really depends. So read closely when you're developing your custom civilizations. But let's look at the ones we have. We have Heart of the Empire, mouse over, tool. No? Oh, wow. There we go. Tooltip. Ooh. The hitboxes, guys, are a little wonky. I've noticed. I've been playing for a couple months. Kind of wonky on the hitboxes. Stardock. Not sure what that's about. Heart of the Empire. This is a nice one here. It's just a straight up plus 10% to influence growth, plus 10% to your gross income. Nothing wrong with that. Now, many policies you will find have a trade-off where one thing will be a deficit. One thing will be a minus to something for a plus in another thing. And in general, the thing you're gaining more of, you get more of it. It is usually a very good thing for your civilization, but it requires some balancing. Heart of the Empire is one of the rare ones where it's good and good. There is no downside to it. So we will drag Heart of the Empire over, and hopefully you'll be able to watch our gross income up here. That might change this. So let's see, we're at that 6.72. Let's drag this over, drop it in. And down here, yes, it bumped us up to a 7.34, 7.34. It's 10% on so little money. That's literally, we have less than 10, so it's less than one whole. Credits, Galacto credit. All right, the other two we'll just look at real quick here. This is an example of a trade-off. We could get a flat gross income of +5. However, just 5 extra credits a turn, but it's at +30% pollution. That's not good. Even though it's a plus, it's not good. We don't want more pollution. Unless you're playing one very specific civilization build that likes pollution, we don't want it. So there's not a lot of reasons I would take that. The other one's population boom. Yeah, this is again one of those general trade-offs. Our fertile nature can be leveraged to increase our population quickly. So you can get a 200% increase to growth. Not 100%. 100% increase would, like, plus 100 would be like double. This is plus 200. It is massive. However, it has a huge minus 20% to your gross income. Although it gets you a plus 10% approval. I don't exactly know why that is, but let's just say the biologicals like the biological, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you guys know what I'm saying. All right, that's it. We'll pop out of there. And I wanted to point out real quick, our next tab is our leaders tab. You can see there's a white number 1 and a little golden disc. That means that we have a surplus leader. It's unused. They're unassigned. And eventually we can have dozens of leaders. But another place I'll point out up here, we have our monthly news report. This is just a quick recap of what has happened on the previous month. If I click on this, a leader is available to be assigned. So essentially, we unlock the leaders tab with like our capital building or something. And this little monthly report from GNN, Galactic News Network, monthly report is just sitting here saying, yeah, you have a leader available to be assigned. So a really nice touch that Stardock has done is that they, in many places in the game, prompt you, try and tell you, try and remind you, like, hey, look at this, take a look, do this, do this. So there's always a bit of guidance. Read around. You'll find some things that are amusing, some things that are clever, some things that will just add a rich context to the tapestry of the civilization that you are trying to create in the galaxy that you inhabit. So we don't need to look at that all the time, but yeah, let's jump into our leaders tab then. I ignore the little guy here. You got little informative robot guy. He's adorable, but he doesn't really tell me anything useful. Here's what we got. These are our unassigned leaders over here on our left side. We have one right now. Dude's a stud. It's actually a great leader. Here we are with tabs: recruitment, ministers, governors, diplomats, commanders, factions. Okay, so recruitment, you're only going to get 2, 3, 4 leaders in here at a time. You won't get that many. There are ways to pull new leaders in, but otherwise every so many turns, I don't exactly know, old leaders will leave. You can see months remaining, 17. So Carrie here will leave in 17 months. Ray will leave in 20. And Arav will leave in 31. So as these people drop out, new people will show up, and they're more or less randomly generated. Now, depending on your civilization, your build, you can attract leaders potentially with some traits over others, like slightly more common traits. We talked a little bit about our populations in episode 3 in my special populations video I did last week about special abilities of pops. Leaders are very similar. So if we come up here to Arav, he's an opportunist. When assigned as governor, if this planet their planet is conquered, they will join the new owner. He will abandon your ass and go to the other side, even if they're Xenos. Okay, down here, maintain a close relationship with an unbelievably brilliant friend from a foreign world, plus 30% research when assigned as governor. That's good. If you can assign him as governor, keep the colony he's on from being captured by the enemy, he'll give you massive research bonuses, so he's actually possibly worth having. And there's a bunch of others. Plus 3 to carries control. And actually, that shows up right where? No, just 3 to control. Control. Oh, that's not bad. Not all the time. What? Oh. Okay. So this is one of those things where when we're talking about population, there's so many moving parts for their approval ratings, their own unique characteristics, and leaders as well. This is a little unclear to me. If I were to hire Carrie right now, will I gain plus 3 control one time? Meaning this 68 will jump to 71 right now. We'll probably try it as an experiment worth doing. Or will this plus 3 control be every single month forever? Because FYI, leaders don't die. They're not gonna. You'll have them for the whole time. In general, there's not easy ways to lose leaders, which is great. But will this little green plus 3 control go from 3 to 6? I want to find out. So let's look at a couple quick numbers. You can see up here, Art, who's already with us, once struggled with a crippling drug addiction, but has since overcome it and emerged stronger. That's interesting. Now, that could come to play later on with some of the events that we might come across, because we have Art assigned to a ship or a planet or some role. He could get embroiled in a conspiracy of some sort. It's possible he could get involved with a criminal organization, could take note due to his past, drug issues. It's hard to say. But let's look at Art's numbers real quick. His intelligence is a 6, which is pretty average. His social skills is 6, pretty average. This is massive. His diligence is a whopping 15. That's extremely high. Extremely high. So where that's breaking down, though, is he's at a base of 10. He was created randomly with a 10, but he also randomly got the focus trait for plus 5, giving him a total of 15. So we can see right here, there is his focus trait. That plus 5 diligence, sometimes you'll see that, plus 3 to social or plus 2 to resolve or whatever. That just goes right down to the stat. So it's right there. There's the focus trait given a plus 5. Cool. What else does Art have? Overcame the addiction. Okay, that's cool. And invented a new energy source quickly adopted across the civilization. Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe that could lead to commercial options for us, research option, or nothing. I don't really know. But we'll get him assigned here in just a moment. But I want to grab Kari, because this is a rare one, that plus 3 control, but it's so potentially valuable. I'm willing to bite off the 265, because let's look at this. Not only is it'll cost me 265 credits to hire her right now, and that's pretty much it. Once I have signed a contract with her, bought her, she's locked in with us. It's really nice, and I don't even think there's much tax overhead to having a bunch of leaders, so you're going to want to pick them up. But she's the cheapest of all of these. Ray here's at 341. Avar is at 451, so she's a safe bet. Beyond which, not only is the control thing, we want to know about this plus 3 control, but she's actually got good numbers. She's sitting on a 7, a 10, and a 5. And you can do simple add up the total, take an average, whatever method you'll come up with to determine good versus bad. I'm looking over here going, okay, Avar has some potential to be a good research governor, but his social is a 4. It is really poor. And social is actually an important part of being a governor. So Avar is not my first choice as a governor at all. Ray here is kind of a mixed bag. He's actually pretty strong here on the resolve, the diligence, and the social. I actually like that social, but again, his intelligence is a little on the low end. Now, for the most part, your governors, you're going to want your social, your intelligence, and your diligence. Those three, the blue, the green, and the purple, are what matters for a governor. A ship commander, which we would find up here, you will want diligence and resolve, the purple and the red. So I look at Carrie here and go, you know what? Her resolve is the lowest, but for governorship, I don't care about resolve. It has no impact on the colony she runs. So I think she is absolutely our best bet. So let's pick her and let's watch this control number up there. Sorry. Okay. I can point at the screen, but then you guys can't see what I point at. Here we go. So we're just going to double click her. Click, click. We got her. Okay, so boo. Look what happened. We went from 68 to 71. So it's I still think she was the best choice out of all the leaders. So it's not a big deal, but +3 control, that wasn't really worth it. But she's cheap. So okay, here we go. So we've got 2 great leaders. Let's jump over to ministers. So the ministers tab, you can see there are 10 total minister slots. Are there more? No, if I slide down, there's a slider bar because potentially there could be more minister slots they add. But yeah, you start with these 3. Minister of Exploration is going to affect the movement and the range of your ships. So, and you'll notice that it's color coded to purple right here, and that's diligence. Purple is diligence. So if we drop Art into Minister of Exploration, his 15 is going to do a lot for us. We'll just do it. It doesn't hurt anything to try. Boom, I put him in there. And you'll see this is what we gain, a +1 to ship movement. Any minister would give us the +1. But the range of our ships, distance non-probe ships can travel away from your planet and star bases, is a +15. That's considerable. That's +15 hexes. It's a lot. It's awesome. Now, bear in mind that depending on the morale, the loyalty, that's what this number right here. Kari has a 48 loyalty. Art has a 56. You could take somebody who's a brainiac, we'll say, and you would assign them to command a ship, and their morale might drop by 10. It'll always be 10, FYI. Or you could take them and drop them in as a governor, and the morale goes up by 10. They're like, I like this. So you do need to fiddle around with your leaders a little bit and see what they're suited for. So what else could we do here? Let's just do another quick example. We have a 7 here on social. So I could take Carrie and drop her into Minister of Colonization, and she gives us a straight up +7 to approval. Yeah. Now, this tooltip here, approval, is telling us a lot of things that approval does in general, but ultimately, we just see we get a +7 approval across all of our colonies, across everyone, across all of our leaders. Everyone has a +7 to approval. So I think it's to every. Your planet's approval is the average approval of all citizens on the planet. Yeah, all right. Well, whatever. Maybe approval is not loyalty. So let me not confuse you there. But yeah, and that's actually the case because that +7 she's giving us doesn't give her a +7 or Art a +7. So it is approval just to pops on planets. Okay. And yeah, or I can move her over to Ministry of Technology. And that gives us +1 random tech slots and a +7% to all of our resources. So real quickly as an example, I'll move Kari over to Minister of Colonization. I'll back out of here. I will jump into our research options up here. And you can see we have 1, 2. We're researching planetology. This one, we've got it selected. You see the golden border. This is selected. We're going to have it in 4 turns. 4 turns it looks like. Total cost of 20. We're researching 5 per month. 4 times 5, 20. Simple. Okay. But you notice this is locked. Assign a technology minister to unlock. So again, Stardock doing a really good job of telling you what you need to do to make stuff happen in the game. So we'll hit done. We will jump back into our leaders. We will jump back to our ministers. We'll take Kari and we'll dump her into the Ministry of Technology to gain that +1 slot. We'll hit done. We'll go back into research, and there is our 3rd option. Simple. Simple stuff to do. And you go, well, if it's so simple, why am I even sweating it? Wait, why don't they just give me that? Is this strategy? Well, it is actually, because we only have so many leaders. We can only afford so many. So are we better served by her being a Minister of Technology or being a Minister of Colonization? What else do we have? We have governors. Now, right now, D.L. Bradley is our super stud, 100% loyalty. He's our sovereign, our king, essentially. He is in charge of Earth in particular. And I don't know that we can move him out of there. I mean, we wouldn't want to move him out of there because you can see he's rocking the 13, the 13, the 14, the 13. Guys, the guy's a Chad. I dare say he's a mega Chad. I think that's what the kids say these days. I don't know. But at any rate, research is a plus 26. That's 2 times his intelligence. So you see, it's kind of like how pops were with their jobs, different multipliers. But with leaders, it's magnified. You're getting like big multipliers across for their stats to what they're giving you. What do we got here? Social is coming into 13. And that, I believe, is doing 3 things for us. 3 things, I think. 2 times for gross income. So 2 times 13. It's a little tricky because he's got a lot of 13s. Approval is just on, and this is for Earth only Earth. Plus 13, that's based off of his social. Pretty sure that's coming from social. The influence gain is a 6.5. That's 1/2 of social, again, if I had to guess. And finally, the manufacturing is a plus 28. That one's actually easy to discern. That's 2 times his diligence. So that's more or less why I was saying your research, your social, your diligence matters for a governor, but not the red resolve stat. It's not going to do anything for us here. So now, again, DL is a little confusing right now because he's got the 13, the 13, the 13. It's like hard to parse it. But if we were to slot someone else in there, I'm not going to do it, but you could just experiment. Or as you gain more core worlds, you can slot people and you'll see which numbers relate to what. But that's how you can figure it out on your own and see what's going on. What else do we got? We got diplomats. We have not met any alien civilizations, but eventually they will all appear one after another as we meet them in the galaxy. And we can assign a diplomat, and ultimately, diplomats can do 2 things for you. They, in general, will just give you like a +1 to whether you're becoming more popular or less popular with xenospecies. We'll see that eventually. The other thing they can do, some leaders' special abilities up here will do something like, when assigned as a diplomat to an alien civilization, will increase their crime rate by +5%. And you're like, oh, that's bad. I want to do that to the Xenos. I'm going to send them a criminal. And so there's that and quite a few other things. So be looking out for the occasional leader that has a special diplomat bonus feature and pocket them just for that. What else we got? Commanders. So every every civilization has, as of right now that I've seen, 7 special ships that they will get as they play the game. But ultimately, to unlock one of these 7 special ships, so these are all Earth ships: the Victory, the Curiosity, the Perseverance, the Gaze, the High Base 1, the Apex, and the Sickle. In every civilization has different looks and names to these special ships. All I need to do is, once I've unlocked the Victory, I don't have her yet, I have to assign a commander onto her. I take a leader and essentially just drop it onto Victory. Once I do that, Victory will pop up next to my capital core world next to Earth. Just be in orbit there on Earth. And you're like, shit, cool new ship with a cool leader. Let's go do stuff. And in general, these ships are pretty nice. You're wondering, how do I get the Victory? Well, right down at the very bottom of this tile, right here, hyperwave radio tech required. So as soon as we research the hyperwave radio tech, we will get access to the Victory, provided we have a couple of leaders to assign as commanders. The other ship coming in there, the Curiosity, requires emissary tech, the Perseverance, defensive studies tech, the Gaze, interstellar cabinet tech, high base interstellar cabinet tech. So that research will get us 2 new ship unlocks. The Apex, sovereign immunity, and the Sickle, sovereign immunity. And then beyond which, the many ships you'll find can have special abilities, which is right here. Antimatter bomb damages targets and everything within 1 tile radius of the target. That's a special thing the Sickle has. Maybe like the Reaper, like the Grim Reaper. Not every ship has it. Let's see, what else do we have? What does Curiosity do? Curiosity plus, I'm holding shift to try and lock in this tooltip. If you want to keep the tooltip window open, you can hold shift. +1 research from surveying Interesting. Interesting. Okay, what else do we got? Perseverance. Increased hit points based on the commander's diligence. That may be a little boilerplate. But, this is interesting. Plus 10% approval to any planet at which this ship is stationed. So, things like that. Obviously, it's too much to review every single thing. I'm just pointing out to you, the player, to read over your ships. And not just these Special 7 ships. That you might occasionally, through surveying the galaxy, find unusual ships that you'll gain access to. So anything you ever get that's like a clever, one-of-a-kind ship, make sure you read over it thoroughly to see if there's special ability. So, yeah, there you go. And then finally, factions. We haven't unlocked any factions yet, but we will get those through research. Yeah. And factions are kind of interesting because you can assign, instead of just one leader, you can assign at least 8. I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe even more. And you may be able to get a slider bar over here. I don't really remember. I've never loaded a single faction up with that many leaders. So I've never been able to afford that many. But yeah, ultimately, you'll get things like increase your military output or increase or decrease crime, growth of population, food production, research, manufacturing, influence, and diplomacy. One trick, though, with many of the factions is as you drive up, say, growth, you may drive down food. Oftentimes, they don't both benefit you. The benefit you get usually is many times more than the detriment. So again, it's similar to your policies. A lot of the policies have a little bit of a hit to get a nice chunk of gain. So be careful. Just watch what the numbers are doing. But understand that these are not all beneficial completely. They're just mostly beneficial. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So we don't have factions yet. We don't have commanders yet. We don't have diplomat needs yet. We don't have any other core worlds. They haven't shown up. When we find other amazing worlds that have a value, a rating, what the heck is the term for it? A class of more than 10, it is eligible to become a core world by assigning a governor to it in the Leaders tab. And I will point out real quickly, I'm going to pull up the tooltip for Earth. I will hold Shift and I'll mouse over a class 28 amazing. And as we discussed in episode 3, 28 means there's 28 tiles. So anything that's less than 10, you can't make a core world. For example, here's Mars. Mars is a class 3 poor, meaning that it's only got 3 tiles on it that somehow give us a +2 to manufacturing and a +2 to influence. I don't know where those numbers come from. It is what it is. But we can't. We can colonize it. We can get those resources sent to our world. It is our world. It can be conquered, but we can't build on it or assign a leader to it. Okay. And was there anything else new? Cultural progression? Yeah. We can't do anything in here yet. Now, you'll notice we have 1 culture point because we did 1 turn. I think our capital building's generating 1 culture for us. Every turn, we'll get 1 more, 1 more, 1 more. And very slowly, we will build up. Now, I think as Terrans, as humans, we're individualists. We are. And I know that because when I click on individualism, I can see our ideology discount is 25%. Now, you can have a different ideology discount for every one of the 8 cultural ideologies. You are not locked out of any of them. You can dip into all 8 of them in the same civilization playthrough. If you'd like to, you can. But you'll notice pacifism, we have a 0% discount. We don't get any discount. So it's cheaper for us to delve down the individualism tree because we have discounts. And you're going, interesting. Well, how do I change those numbers? Well, as things come up, anomalies happen, or as you unlock more of a tree, you'll go from 25% to 26 to 28 to 32, and the discount will grow. But you can also get little discounts and other stuff. Like we could get our pacifism up to a 6% discount. It's not much, but it might be something to dip into. I don't think we have any other pips right now. And let's do a quick for example. The first thing we can unlock under individualism is the independence. Independence in colonies nurture self-reliance, empowering them to tend to their own needs and flourish. We will get a 15% decrease to supply attrition from colonies, and it spawns the ship, the Independence. One of those cool, rare ships we will get when we unlock this for 9 culture points. You can see right there. As a comparison, though, let's go to totalitarianism, with my personal favorite, obviously. 12 culture points. Because 25% off of 12 is 9. That's where the simple math comes from. Now, last thing to recall is that every time we unlock any one of these circles, any one of these traits under any tree, it bumps our next price point up for the next circle we click. Again, from whatever tree. So every time we gain a circle, the cost grows to get the next one. Meaning that the Eureka here costs 12 right now. But if I purchase individualism in 9 turns for 9 culture points and come back to Eureka, it won't be 12 anymore. It'll be like 24. Yeah. Or, you know, I don't exactly know the progression, but it does grow. I don't want to say it doubles every time. It's not exponential growth, but it is probably like a 60%, 70% increase each time. So it jumps. It's chunky growth. Is that linear? Sorry, I try and talk math and I make myself look like an asshole. So I won't bother you with that. But yes, it grows. It grows, not exponentially though. On a standard playthrough, I oftentimes find myself maybe unlocking a full tree before winning the game. So don't get in your head that you're just like, oh, I'm gonna get all these, or I'm gonna get this one from this one from this. This isn't like World of Warcraft trait trees where you're gonna dip into this build and this build and this build. You can get a shallow distance into all of them, but you're not gonna get deep into even to more than one. That's just it. Or maybe you'll get halfway through 2 of them. Now, you can do a culture point build. There are ways that I found to get that 1 point of culture up to 2, up to 3, up to 4, up to 5, but you got to go for that real hard, starting with your ability picks at the start when you're making your civilization, and then go after that, pursue it quickly through the traditionalism tree in particular, and you go hard on that. But even then, considering how quickly each new circle's cost grows, and the fact that although you may be focusing in on traditionalism or individualism, you aren't really getting deep discounts on anything else. It's hard. It's hard to grow those discounts to any substantial amount. I think if you could do a playthrough where you unlocked 2 full trees, maybe 2.5. I've never had a playthrough where I think I could get to 3 of the trees. It just hasn't happened. Not even close. So culture is an interesting one. I think it's really one of the things that defines a unique playthrough and replayability is that you're only going to get through one of these each time. So at the very least, you could play this game 8 times through and go down a different culture route each time. So, all right. We've looked at the other stuff, so yeah, it's time to play. Now, we currently have our colony ship en route to this amazing planet, Kratos 4. Class 25 amazing, with a snuggler colony. Yes, please. We want to get that. But there's nothing else to do. And not that you can really see that, but here, hold on. I think you guys can still hear me. Can I move my face button? No. Let's see. Give me a second. Sorry. Down here, it shows there's nothing idling. Actually, yeah, I'll drop my face down here so you guys can see this. So, yeah, we're going to jump back in here, and we'll just hit turn. We'll advance turn. There's nothing else really for us to do. You can see the ships are slowly progressing. We have a probe heading off up here. Our colony ship is heading off over here. And the Discovery, which is right here, has 2 more months remaining to scan this space junk. This is an anomaly. And these are like the really fun little, I describe them as loot crates. This is a fun part of the game. You can even do a build. Well, not really a build. You can go down the research tree where you really try and get the ability to detect more advanced anomalies quicker than everyone else, and you can get to them quicker than everyone else. And you get more and more flagships, and it's a fun game. If you play that way, you're just like, I'm going to get all the treasures of the galaxy and gobble them up as fast as I can. And it works pretty well. It'll get you let you build up the damage your ships can do pretty well. Like let you build some nice ships from modules you'll find, and you can get a lot of credits, a lot of Galacto credits built up in your piggy bank. So yeah, it's a fun way to play. That's more of a wild card playthrough. Really, it's a more loosey goosey strategy because you don't know what you're going to get, but it is fun. Okay, so you can see now down here, we do not have the triangle, the yellow play button. It's not ready to advance to the next turn because we have things waiting. And what this is telling us, this little exclamation, is there's an event. An event. Okay, here we go. This is one of our first events. Earth, planet report, precursor probe. We've uncovered a precursor probe orbiting Earth. We're not sure why it was sent here or how long it has been here, but the technology is advanced. What are your orders? They're asking you, the leader, or D.L. Bradley. Okay. Let's study this and see what we can learn. We'll mouse over, see what that'll get us. Progressivism, cultural awareness increases to a 3. It's a 0 right now. It's a donut, but we can get to 3. +1 sensor power to all ships. Every ship we make, not pretty much the ones we have and the ones we will make, will all get a +1 sensor range. 1 more hex in radius they can see. So you can imagine as our probe is winnowing through the hexes across the galaxy, searching for stuff. It currently has a search bubble that is maybe a 3 or 4 hex radius. I'm not exactly sure, honestly, but we could find out. But this will make it 1 radius bigger. And as that increases out to a radius of 5, 6, 8, 10, you can expose massive segments of the galaxy on every turn because the scanning bubble is so massive for your probe and all your other ships. So that's not a bad option. What else do we have? Repair the probe and see what it does. Unlock the Stargazer ship. Possibly a good option. And it's a gamble. You don't exactly know what you're going to get. Progressivism, cultural awareness also will increase to 3 from 0. So what that's saying, by the way, is it's not saying it's a +3. It's just saying it'll go to 3. It'll go up to 3. We're at 0 now. And here's the final option. Sell the probe to the highest bidder. Egalitarianism increases to a 3. It's just saying, yeah, greatest good. Cash it out. We'll spend it on everyone. Okay. And +500 treasury. If we were strapped for cash, we could absolutely take that option. And we're not strapped for cash, so I don't really need the 500. I like, personally, my strategies to go for things that are long-term permanent. So in that sense, grabbing the +1 sensor power to all ships is high. That one's calling to me pretty strong. But this is the gamble. This is one of the great things Stardock has done is they don't tell you everything. They're like, do you want to take a risk? We don't know if the Stargazer could be a flagship. She could just be a warship. She could just be here's a ship. It's a light frigate, cruiser. It'll you help defend your planet. You're like, all right, I got a ship. We could build our own ships. What's rare though is a flagship. A flagship is one of the handful of ships you'll gain over the playthrough, an entire playthrough, that has an anomaly sensor array built on it. It allows it to interact with and scan anomalies, which we've already described as the loot crates of the game. So if you don't pursue these unique ships and get as many flagships as you can't really effectively play the anomaly game. It's a decision you will make for your empire. It's like you're saying, like, screw those special ships. I'm going to just work on building. I'm not going to worry about anomalies and what I might get rich. I'm not going to be out there doing a metal detector across the galaxy. I don't want to play that way. I'm going to build infrastructure, education, strong leaders, balanced budgets. That's how I'm going to conquer the galaxy. So it's a trade-off. So let's take a shot at the Stargazer ship. Little wild-ass gamble. And if we get it, then I potentially can show you if it's a flagship or not. We don't know. It's going to happen right away, though. So This is our one chance. So I will point out one last thing before we do this. Anytime an anomaly, an event window, this is called an event window. They're usually related to anomalies, but not always. This event happened to be an Earth planet report, not an anomaly. But right up here, this little arrow, we can decide later. So I will click it. The event window disappears. However, the event is still here. We cannot advance the turn. We're not pushing it to the next turn. We must decide and make our choice this turn. This is an important thing to understand about the game. And I don't think it's a bad thing. But the reason we can decide later and close it is so that we can come and check something else. Do you want to do this? We'll give you a heliosaur. And you're like, shit, did I need one more heliosaur? I need to go in and check. And you go into another window, you open it up, you check, you see what you need. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I am going to go back to the event and choose the Helios ore as my reward because I need it and I double check that or not. So what? Let's take a look at the discovery real quick. We were talking about the scanner range. We'll mouse over here. Here's our move. Our move is 8. Obviously, the hit points is 50. The purple, that's logistics. That's how many ships she can be in a fleet with. It's a pretty small fleet size right now. You got to think, these are like science ships. What's this one? Ships 1. Flag. Yes, she's able to search anomalies because she's a flagship. What's our scanner range? That's XP. Conquest rating. Combat rate. Where the heck is our scanning range? Seriously, guys? What the what? There we go. Okay, so you can see I'm mousing over like there. I had to get her pop-up, her proper pop-up. And scanning, sensor range right there, 5. So just to give you an idea. And actually, I think we're an explorer. You can see we chose the explorer option from our trait picks. That's giving us a +2. Otherwise, she would actually, because she's a medium ship, would be at a +2, and because she's a flag module, would be at a +1. So only by virtue of us being explorers in our trait tree is this ship sitting at a 5 right now. And in fact, a ship like our colony ship right here is not a flag. So she doesn't have the flag sensor. Check this out. Her sensor range is just a +2 as a cargo. And she gets a +2 again because we're explorers. So we've already got kind of a jump on scanning range. So that kind of reinforces to me that maybe we don't need to take that +1 option. But what it is meaning here is let's just jump to our probe. You can see this sort of circular honed out area here. That is from our probe. As she moves forward, she pushes back the fog. And as she follows this line, the fog will clear out. Roughly, you can see the size of the hexes in a... let's just click on her. Sure, her sense range is 7. Oh, that's actually probably because she's a probe. Check this out. +2 from Explorer. +2 from being tiny. I don't know how that helps anything, but sure. She has a probe module. Now, a probe module cannot scan anomalies. Only flagships can do that. But yeah, there you go. So the probe actually has a massive radius. So in that sense, adding a +1 to 7, you're starting to get kind of diminishing returns on what percentage more. Maybe that's only a 12% increase in scanning range. So screw it. I want the dang ship. So that all being said, let's jump back to our event. Repair the probe. See what she does. Unlocks the Stargazer. Yes. Boom. Do it. We did it. Awesome. 2 things that's going to mean for us. We're going to jump back into cultural progression real quick. And which one was that? Not egalitarian. It's progressivism. 3 right there. When I click on it, you can see the 3% and also up here, 3%. So that's how you could slowly build up discounts on other culture trees. That may not have been obvious to you. And then our Stargazer, did we get her? Where's the old Stargazer? We didn't get her automatically because she's not in orbit. However, let's go to the Forge, which is our Star Dock. We'll double click her. We'll hit done. There's the Stargazer. She's a combat ship. A precursor probe that has been recently reactivated. Her movement's 15, which is pretty good. Sensor range 7. Logistics 2. 12 health, so she's a free, like a light warship. nothing wrong with that. She's not a flagship, though, unfortunately. Oh, this is interesting. Unlimited range. Prototypes are unique. Once they're destroyed, they're gone forever. So we can build one Stargazer. We're not really building her. We're repairing her. That's what's going on, right? That's what it said. What this means, though, is that a probe is a weenie ship. Tiny, 3 health, no weapons, no offense, no defense. Whereas the Stargazer is also a type of probe. It's an advanced precursor probe. Her range is... the range she could travel is unlimited. She can go anywhere across the sector. She can go from this sector to other sectors. She can do anything she wants. And she has a little bit of fighting potential. She's got a little bit of health. She's got a little bit, combat capabilities. So it's like a beefed up probe is functionally what she is. So, yeah, we'll build her. We'll add her into the queue here. I'll just select Stargazer and then hit build ship. And you can see she'll come in a bit. I'm not in a rush to get her. I mean, I know I want her. I want her out there exploring the galaxies, but she can't unlock anomaly surveys. She's not a flag. That sucks. Okay. Is what it is. Let's hit done. So that was a gamble that I would say didn't pay off. Live and learn. Next turn. So that was all there was to do this turn. We just hit advance. Here we go. Gosh dang, man, this colony ship is so slow. Look at, she's only moving at 4 per turn. So think of, this is interesting. A colony ship is an extremely slow ship. It's laden with presumably tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of colonists. She's not built for war, easily destroyed. It's a large but fragile ship. And she is slow. Her move is 4 per turn. That's why she's inchworming across. If we look at the old Discovery here, this is a big, medium flagship with 50 hit points and some weapons. But her move is 8. She's twice as fast as the colony ship. And that probe of ours was fast as the probe. Move is 9, even faster. Oh, anyway, let's hit event. This is another Earth planet report. So this is not, again, an anomaly. We won't get that anomaly till the Discovery finishes the scanning phase, which takes months. Usually 4, 5, 6 months, somewhere in that range for most anomalies. New generation. A new generation has been born on Earth, the first that are likely to live and die on distant worlds. How should we best prepare them for the future? Great question. Our military always needs new recruits. Our most brilliant thinkers will lead us forward, or allow them to pursue their own dreams. We need more artists. This actually is one of the more common early reports that come up in the game. So yeah, what do we want to do? Military means we'll gain 1 soldier citizen right now. We just get a free pop on our planet. We'll be a type soldier. Totalitarianism will increase from 0 to 3. We could gain a scientist citizen right now, and progressivism will increase from 3 to 6. So we can start focusing in on progressivism if we want. And finally, gain an entertainer. That's probably like approval and influence, I would guess. And individualism increases from 25 to 28. That's our jam. That's what we are into. So I'm going to magnify individualism. I want to get that discount as big as I can because it'll really pay dividends. Filling out that culture tree faster by the larger we make that discount as we play through. So, yeah, we're going to get an entertainer. We get an Elvis. Now, if we jump back to Earth real quick, you can see right here. This is Angie Hees. She is, in fact, an entertainer. This little smiley face, that's her job. Entertainers boost the world's approval based on their social. And Angie's social is coming in at a 5. She's a typical, person. Int 6, social 5, diligence 5, resolve 5. She's gaining us a half an influence. And that's it. Isn't she supposed to be improving? I was expecting to see an approval bonus somewhere. I don't see it. Why? Where's Angie? Huh. That's fascinating. She eats 1 food. She yields a +1 to growth. So she's like each carbon-based pop. Each mammal is going to add 1 to your growth. She has 0 expectations, and she's giving us +0.5 an influence every turn. But no Maybe because she's a nihilist? Hold on. What? Believes in the rejection or denial of inherent meaning or value in life. Causing pain in others is the reward. Excellent. She is a very specific kind of entertainer, I would say, then. I don't know where the approval is, then. Where is her approval bonus? Let's look at Danielle here. She is a standard, a regular citizen. She's not specialized. She's giving us a 0.3 influence, so it's a little less than Angie. I don't see any adjustment to approval at all there, but she's giving us a manufacturing boost, a small one, a gross income boost, a research boost, an influence boost. Seems like in every meaningful way she's adding something. And beyond which, check this out. Everyone else is giving us a little bit of planetary defense +5, planetary defense +3, but an entertainer gives you no bonus to planetary defense. That's right. Your Oscar winners are not going to be out there, man, in the front lines when the Xeno dropships start hitting the ground. When the orbital bombardment starts, they will be the deepest in the bunkers. So, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Interesting. I don't mind an influence bonus. I just don't see why it's saying approval when I'm not getting approval. We'll advance a couple turns. Maybe if we remember, we'll check back in on her and see if maybe it populates or next month will come into effect. I've noticed a few little things in the game here and there where it does, you do have to advance a turn to see it come into effect. So it's rare, but I have that impression. So whatever. You can see here, we're back on Earth. We're building. We got quite a few turns. So yeah, like any game like this, the start's a little bit slow. Not a lot's happening yet, but we'll advance a turn. There goes our colony ship heading off. You know what we're going to want? I'm looking over. Oh. Our first anomaly survey just completed. Our survey ship cautiously approaches the mysterious object, all sensors set to maximum gain. One of the universe's many secrets, perhaps a great danger or a valuable treasure, will soon be revealed to us. And it just plays this fun little animation. Usually it'll just cycle through these animations the first time any major event pops up in a game. It won't do this to you every time. Don't sweat that. So, I have an event down in the corner right here. And we'll check that. This is the anomaly. Now, if we zoom into the discovery, you can see the anomaly physically has disappeared. It's gone. We've anomaled it. But and if I click on the discovery, she's idling. She's ready for her next mission. So if I just zoom out a touch right to about there, I can very easily pick out these little white flowers. White flowers. White flowers. Those are the various anomalies I can research. I think I pointed out before, there are subtle variations in how these look. For instance, this white bar is a capsule. This little white circle here is an artifact. You can see the symbol right here, this purple symbol. Capsule. Oh, I guess the symbols don't matter so much. What's this one? An artifact. That's 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 a capsule. I only point out that, look, these two are clearly capsules. These other ones, some of these others are artifacts. I think there's also space junk, I think is one of the options. Space junk, artifact, capsules. Those are probably the three. Now, I only point this out because artifacts are powerful relics of lost civilizations. They are rare but give valuable rewards. Okay, what is space? What's a capsule? Capsules are lost goods never recovered. Escape pods, jettisoned contraband, or simply misplaced wares. They have miscellaneous effects. Okay, and then space junk is what we had researched initially, and I don't remember what that said. I think it said something like they're easy to scan, or next time we see one, we'll look at it. But yeah, my advice is just to go after all of them. And in general, go after the ones that are just physically closest, because at this early stage of the game, our ships are only so fast. So you don't want to spend too much time flying way out of your way to only come back. So if I'm looking at this, I just go, yeah, like right there. Let's grab that one. And then we'll head back and hit these and start going this way, right? Like just kind of follow the chain of them. So yeah, since we got the discovery here, I'll just click her. She's selected, and I just right click on the anomaly. She zips over, and you can see this little blue bubble right here. That is essentially a scanny icon. That just tells you that this flagship is researching the anomaly. 5 months remaining. Cool. All right. What else do we got? Let's jump over to the event. Now, this event is the space junk anomaly she just completed. The little animation you saw was just a one-time cool animation, but here's the actual event. All right. TAS Discovery Survey Report. Dimensional Receiver. Our ship has entered an area which appears to have bubbles that are in the fourth dimension. Wink. Don't we all? It's fourth dimension's time, but you guys get that. They grow, shrink, disappear, and then return at random intervals. After some effort, we have learned that we can look within and with a lot of patience, glean bits of information about this area of space from the past, present, and future. You think? Yeah, unfortunately, this area of space is not stable and could disappear at any moment. In addition, trying to look through the collected data is incredibly tedious. However, there is a lot of knowledge that we could uncover if we take the time. But on the scroll down, other hand, it might be more efficient to simply collect samples from the fourth dimension pockets while we can study them later. So, two choices. You can see two choices here. They're kind of saying like, yeah, it's dangerous for the ship. Either they stay there and they do the research, or we grab some info and take it home and safely research. Okay, let's read over the options. We will keep reading through the data even though it's boring. Oh, okay, it's not so dangerous as it is tedious. Pacifism, cultural awareness increases to 1. Plus 10% research on all worlds for 50 months. That's significant. So just a 10% bonus for 50 months, 5 years. I mean, what are we like on turn 5? That'll last a long time. Or gather technology from the pocket universe that is clearly futuristic and it's made out of shiny tinfoil. It must be, the fabric is gold in color. It must be from an advanced civilization. So I think old Star Trek, you know? It's like, it's a gold headband. Oh, what's that made out of? It's Lycra. It's just spray painted Lycra headband. No, it's advanced nanotechnology because of the shininess. Gather technology. This is going to give us a plus 50 research one time. Lump sum. Now, bear in mind, we were talking about our one of our planetology researches was a 20 test tubes. And we were researching 5 per month. It's going to take 4 months, so 20. So that's telling you 50 is a chunk. Now, we could, I'm looking up here in the corner, I say, well, we're only 1 month remaining. We probably only need like 5 research. But if we don't want to go for 5-year 10% bonus to our research, we could use the little decide later, close this window, jump into our research, choose a research that's closer to 50, come back down to the little exclamation point right here, click it, reopen this window, and choose the 50, dumping that 50 into the more advanced research right now. What else do we get? Progressivism, cultural awareness increases to 4 from 3. It's a great question. I don't have a good answer. Bear in mind, our research right now is 5 per term. So 10% of that is half a research point a month. That'll grow pretty quickly, but it might be a year or two before it's significantly more. So that 10% on 5 is very little. Later in the game, it'd be chunky. Later in the game, a plus 50 on research would be nothing. Just, it's a trade-off. Like if we're gaining 400 research per month and you came across this anomaly, it's like, do you want a plus 50 research? You're like, get out of here with that. I don't want a plus 50. I want the 10%. It's compared to my massive research base, it'll be huge gains. But we're not there yet. So it's worth considering this. Let's do it because it's not that I think it's necessarily the best choice for my playthrough. I would probably take the 10% over 50 months because that's a lot of turns. But just to demonstrate how to do this, we're going to decide later. We're going to come up to our research, planetology. You can see the progress bar is nearly 80% full. There's 1 month remaining. We only need 5 more research to get this. Let's click on it. Here's planetology. We will not lose the progress. By the way, you see this green bar here? That's your progress bar. We will not lose it. So it doesn't hurt us really to do this. Let's look at asteroid mining. If I click on asteroid mining, I can see it takes 20 research. Okay. And by the way, these 2 technologies in this chart, our scientists have special insight into these technology candidates. They are receiving a 50% research bonus. We are getting these at half off. Cool. That's cool. And that essentially, the research avenues you follow as the leader, as the civilization, the research that comes after that avenue of thought, the candle of light, right, that lights the way you think, will always give you benefits when you pursue those paths. But if we never dip into, say, artificial gravity, we won't get special insights and discounts on the artificial gravity path if we never start on it. So you got to be cautious. Sometimes you have to ignore these because it's hyper focusing you on a research line. Sometimes you must break yourself out. Just like, whoa. I've been doing mining and planetology, the greens and the oranges, for 10 years. I've just been following the rabbit hole. I've never once done a blue. It makes you myopic. It can give you tunnel vision. That's what I was looking for. Tunnel vision. That's a good one. Okay, so let's just try this. Let's go. What else do we want? Well, I want an expensive one because we're going to get 50 research. Artificial grav, 50. Boom. Yeah, it's the most. So this is what else is available. There's like 100 research, but we haven't unlocked them yet. This is it. What if we just get artificial gravity right now? I don't need it, but it will cost us a lot eventually. Eventually, we got to do it, so we can just get it. So artificial gravity down here, I'm seeing it'll unlock the experimental drives policy. That's the little gold crown. That's a policy. Logistics will go up +4. That's the size we can build our fleets to. How many ships? And a +1 to move, to all the movement of all of our ships, without doing any upgrades. It's just an automatic. It's actually really nice. Let's do it. Okay? So, all I had to do was click artificial gravity. You can see it's highlighted, glowing here. You can see it's here in the window. It's not that obvious, but artificial gravity, artificial gravity. Planetology is still waiting here, only 1 turn away. You can see its progress bar. So we're not hurting ourselves. Perfect. We'll hit done. We're going to go back to our event. We will choose gather technology from the pocket universe. We'll get that 50 research. Boom. Boom. Artificial gravity. That was 10 turns of research we just did like that. So it was a trade-off. And that's a great thing that Stardock has done, is force you to make decisions. And nothing... It's rare that one decision is the only right decision. Everything, much like life, comes in varying degrees of good and bad. It's all mixed results. But I like that result. And look, we just got it. We got experimental drives. We got +1 to our move, +4 to logistics, and it'll open up the next technology available to be orbital manufacturing. Choose new research. Hey, let's just jump back to planetology, right where we left off. Boom, I select her. There she is. We'll hit done, and we will still have her in 1 more turn. Simple. That was fun. That was a good thing. Now, if I take a look here at the discovery, you can see her move went from a 5 to a 6. Yeah, and remember our colony ship was at a 4, a move of 4. Let's just take a look. Right there. Move 4 of 5. She hadn't moved yet this turn. That's why she had 4. But next turn, she'll be able to move a full 5. So you could see how we gained it immediately. And that's a nice thing that Stardock has done with the game. There's a lot of things. You don't gotta like micro refit every ship and do that. A lot of stuff is just like, you just get it. You just get it. Yeah, that's cool. I like it. And also our logistics went up. I don't remember what it was, like 6 or something. It's up to 14 now. So cool. I guess logistics went up 8. Is that what it was? Don't sweat it. Eventually, you do want to build fleets, so you got to build the number. So that was cool. Oh, and while we're here, probably wrapping this episode up here. We're like 70 minutes. Let's jump into civilizations, though. Experimental drives, right there. That's the policy we unlocked with the artificial gravity. And what that would do is, for a minus 20% hit points to all of our ships, we can get a +1 to move. Let's do it. Well, not yet. Hold on. I actually do want that earlier in the game when we're trying to explore quicker. I want that extra movement because we just get everything explored and unlocked faster. However, I want to wait for us to unlock a new policy slot to put that in there. I don't want to get rid of Heart of the Empire. Heart of the Empire is one of the better policies, so you want to keep that going. But yeah, we'll find something to unlock one of these other ones real quick, and we'll get experimental drives put in there. And of course, in warfare, we wouldn't use experimental drives because we want all the hit points we can get. But for the peacetime, it's a trade-off. Our ships will have less hit points, but they'll move faster. I think that's it. We will leave it on. No. Let's advance the turn. We've done everything. Let's advance the turn. We will end our session for this week. I will see you folks next week, and we will essentially pick up from here. We'll look at planetology. I will make an effort to review every research we gain. I'll try to, because I'm still learning them, to be quite honest, and I'm sure you folks are interested. We will hopefully find new things where we're like, oh shit, that's where that comes from, or oh yes, that's really good, that's helpful for this build, that build, and we'll build our knowledge base together. That's it. Take care, folks.